Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inna alhamdulillah na'amadu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa na'udhu billahi min sururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Amma ba'd. Today we are going to talk about what are the husband duties to wife in Islam. We all know that Islam has given much importance to the human rights. Today we are going to see in detail about what are the husband duties to wife. In Islam, marriage is a pledge, is a severe agreement between both the parties, between men and women. Islam says it is the pledge both parties have to have some rights, and we can end the agreement anytime by both the parties. If someone says, I'm not belonging to this agreement, I want to end the agreement, anybody, any party, either man or woman, can end the agreement. But at the same time, each party should obey the life agreements. What are the rights has been given to husband? Husband should honor the agreements. What are the rights has been given to wife? Wife should honor the agreements. And life agreements, this life agreement in marriage provides equal rights to both men and women. That's the beauty of this agreement. So in Islam, marriage agreement provided equal agreements, equal rights to both men and women. Even though equal rights has been given to men and women, it's a sunnah for a man to give mahar, a money or a property or whatever it is, for to give to women. Whatever that amount of money or property or anything asked by woman, it's compulsory for a man to give those property or money or whatever has been asked by the woman. Even though it is equal rights in the marriage agreement, women sacrificed a lot in this agreement. We are going to see one by one what are those sacrifices and what are the husband duties that husband should fulfill in this marriage agreement. In this first marriage agreement, when a married woman should start leave from their house to start going to husband house. So that's a much more sacrifice. And think about that, they are leaving parents, father, mother, beloved sisters and brothers, everything they set aside and they just leave from them and they are entering into husband's house. This is one of the biggest sacrifices they do at the starting of this marriage. Even though the agreement is for both, but the woman one step higher, sacrificing many things to leave their house and coming to husband's house. They sacrifice their house tradition because they have to follow the husband house tradition. Say for an example, if there is a food timing that they have to keep at, they may have a different timing at their own house, but for husband house, they may have a different timing. They may have a different food tradition. They may have a different cloth or the dress wearing traditions. So they have to adapt to the husband's house tradition. See, there is another sacrifice they have to take it. And also, moreover, she has to cook for herself, her husband, and their parents, the husband parents, father, mother, and the husband's brothers and sisters, and how much of work that she is doing, how much of sacrifices she's gone through in this marriage agreement. Even your own brothers, the husband's own brothers and sisters won't do such sacrifices. Say for an example, if you are not going to eat for a time, for a one-day meal, your brother or sister, will not follow the same suit like you. They just will eat and just go away. But your wife will follow your suit. That she will not eat until you eat. So you have to give much importance to your wife. If you appoint a maid to do all these works, you will lose all your salary, especially in the US. Say for an example, your wife taking care of all your house chores, cooking, washing, cleaning, and taking care of your kids. If you appoint a maid to do all this work, you will lose all your salary, especially in the US, right? So what are the things you have given to your wife after taking care of household works and taking care of your kids, taking care of your home, taking care of all the works in the house? What else you have given to her? Many husbands are careless and never care about their work and sacrifices. They, in fact, they just one step ahead and they ill-treat their wives. So even though they call themselves as, they are Muslims and they, take over Tawheed in their hearts, we are going to see how Allah in His Rasul put a nail on his neck by stating his duties to his wife one by one, inshallah. Many husbands want to treat their wives really well. It's a case, but they are afraid because there is a pressure coming out from their parents. Their mother-in-law, the wife's mother-in-law and father-in-law are the main culprits for their husbands to ill-treat their wife. It may not be the case for everyone, but it's the case for the majority of the cases we have seen in this world. If mother passed away, father-in-law takes the charge and do the torture to the wife. If both have passed away, either their brothers or sister, whoever there, they take the charge. We all seen that mother-in-law, the daughter-in-law problem happens in every household. Why that is happening, even including the Tawhid family. Mother-in-law thought about that, she was undergoing the same torture from her mother-in-law and she wants to pass over the same torture to her, daughter-in-law. As a Muslim, if you get a torture from someone, you realize the pain, right? And what you have to do is, you should realize that what was the mistake and you should correct yourself and you should act kindly towards other people. You should realize it. But people are not doing that actually, especially the mother-in-laws. They are thinking, I have undergone the same torture from their mother-in-law that I need to pass the same thing to her daughter-in-law. Think about the same daughter-in-law situation. Today, they may be in a daughter-in-law position, but one day they will become a mother-in-law and they should stop all this. It is not a chain that you should continue. It's not a good deed that you should keep on going on with that. You should stop one day. First of all, the first husband duty to wife is to act neutrally, to act justicefully between the mother and wife. He should never do any injustice acts towards any of them, to his mother or to his wife. He should act neutrally and justicefully. Rasulullah told in Hajjatul Wida, we all know that in Hajjatul Wida, it's a last sermon that's been it's given by Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Makkah. Rasulullah said, fear Allah concerning women. Verily you have taken them on the security of Allah. So we have taken them on the security of Allah, the pledge from the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's a marriage. And intercourse with them has been made lawful unto you by the words of Allah. The only rights you have with them is to have a family relationship. If you decide to hate your wife, you can do for only one act, which is the wrongful doing of your wife. The wrongful relationship. Other than that, you do not have any rights to hate your wife. This can be seen in Ibn Majah 1851, Tirmidhi 1163, Riyadh as-Sahin 276. So, many husbands hate their wife just because that, in the food they cook, they may add some more salt unknowingly. Maybe the food may not be tasted. Many husbands we have seen in this real world hating their wife just for, so small issues. But Rasulullah said that you can hate your wife is when they commit a wrongful relationship. That's the only time when you can hate your wife. Other than that, it's your duty to encourage your wife, to support your wife in all the work they do. Before we're going to see in detail about what are the husband duties, let's see there are a couple of duties that wife should satisfy to husbands. They should not share the bed to others. And they should not allow anyone into your house, those your husband don't like them. Say for an example, if your husband don't like any person, you're not supposed to allow him into your house, that you are not supposed to allow that person into your house. This is another essential thing that, as a wife, you should honor the duties. These are the duties that's been provided to wife in Islam, nothing else. I'm stopping here, I'm again pressing nothing else. Cooking, washing is all obligation. If the wife decide to do, they can do. If the wife decide not to do, they cannot do. And you are, as a husband, you cannot force them to do. It's an obligatory jobs. They are doing just because that they love you. You cannot force them to do. Let's see the husband duties one by one, inshallah. These duties can be seen in Tirmidhi 1163. Rasulullah says, these are the husband duties. Give them the food when you eat the same food. Give her also when you eat. give them the same food. So this contains a lot of different meanings in it. Give them when you eat. That means if you eat high quality food, you have to give the same high quality food to your wife. If you eat in a much better manner, much better place, you have to ask them to sit with you and give them the same food. You cannot just give them the food, the remaining food that whatever you have. That's not the case here. And even in fact, in one step further, Rasulullah said that even if you feed your food to your wife's mouth, that's much better. Allah will like you. Allah will give you the good deed for the act that you are doing. There are many cities in our way back in our countries to not follow this. In fact, I would like to pinpoint in one city in India, even in that tradition is still being followed. What they normally do is after they getting married, the wife will cook the food for husband and their parents and brothers and sisters, and they will go back to their parents' house for lunch. They will not eat. They are not permitted to eat with the husband's food. Then they will come back. They will just cook the food for dinner for their husband and their parents and their brothers and sisters. Again, they will go back at their parents' house for dinner. What Rasulullah says? Give her when you also eat. Is it not against Sunnah? Even though they are Muslims, what are they following up? What are they doing? The next important duty as a husband is give her also when you wear a dress. If you are buying a dress, buy her a dress as well. And wife also has another duty here as you cannot always pressurize your husband to buy clothes for you when he doesn't buy the clothes for him. It is also much important. Maybe he may be a poor or he may not be in a different situation, not planning to buy a dress, but his rights is when he buys a dress for himself, his rights is to buy a dress for yourself as well. So we have to be careful in this situation. And you should not beat your wife on the face. This is another important duty that every husband should take. You do not have right to beat her, and especially you do not have right to beat her on her face. And you should not degrade her anytime. Say for you came from a poor family, now you want pizza, burger. Such kind of talks should be avoided. You should never degrade your wife because she is your partner, 50% rights that she has within yourself. You should warn her privately at your house. You should not publicize it. You should not warn her publicly in outside. And you should not use abuse words towards to her, or you should not use bad words towards to her. You should never use bad words, or you should never abuse her. Let's take an example, what Rasulullah has shown us an example as a husband. Take a lesson for our life, correct ourselves and act towards to get good deeds. In Abu Dawud 4036, in Al-Adab Al-Mufrad 540, Rasulullah said he also used to do all his work. He was inquired by Aisha anhu, what did normally Rasulullah do? He said he will do the house chores, and when Adhan is given up, he will go and do the prayer. This is the work that Rasulullah do. Help her when she does household works. Rasulullah always helped their wives in household work. This is stated in Sahih al-Bukhari 676. So what we do normally here, many of us used to scold one of us if we help our wives in kitchen or anywhere else. What kind of stuff that is? Are we opposing Sunnah that we are helping our wives? If they are ill, definitely we will help them out. In US, there is nobody else for us to take care, our family, right? So if they are ill, we will definitely go and help her in our household works. But at the same time, when she is not ill, if she needs help, if she doesn't need help, doesn't matter. It's Sunnah to go and share their work. This is the lesson that we can learn from Rasulullah's life. And many of us even still say that I don't know anything about in kitchen, and we take pride in saying that. Is it not the same that we can say that I don't know anything in the kitchen? That why should I go there and help them out? Even we have seen such words in our brothers. The best of you is the one who is the best of his wife. This can be taken as an example to every one of us. This can be seen in Ibn Majah 1977. 1977. The best of you is the best to your wife. If your wife doesn't consider you as the best, Allah will not consider you as the best. Many modern day husbands never care about their wives and their parents. You have a rights, 100% rights to serve your parents. At the same time, your wife also have 100% rights to serve their parents. They need to ask your permission to serve their parents. And also, they forgot that wife also has some duties to serve their parents. Many male chauvinists, including in Muslims, it's unbelievable, including Muslims, that many husbands never allow their wives to go and visit their parents. This is happening. We have seen so many examples. No, you're not supposed to go to your parents' house. This is happening. And we should correct ourselves. It's a sin committed by husband that you are not allowing your wife to visit their parents and serve for them. When you have 100% rights to serve your parents, they also have 100% rights to serve their parents. I'm going to state it here in a hadith stated in Sahih al-Bukhari 2620. When Asma radiallahu anhu, Asma we all know that is a sister of Aisha radiallahu anhu and daughter of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu. She was encouraging Rasulullah that her mother, even though her mother has not come to Islam, she is mushrik. She is asking, her mother wants to stay with her daughter. Maybe she likes her daughter more, so that's why she wants to stay with her daughter. And Asma radiallahu anhu inquired that, can I keep a company with my mother? And Rasulullah said, verily you can do that. So what lessons that we can learn from this particular hadith? When Asma radiallahu anhu wanted to keep her mother with her, she did not seek permission from Zubair, her husband. Zubair radiallahu anhu, her husband. But Rasulullah said that you can keep her very well. So she has a rights to serve her parents. She has a right to keep her parents with her. She doesn't need to ask permission from her husband. This is what we can see from this hadith. And also it's haram in Islam to harm the parents. They are your wife's parents. If they invite you for a meal, go and honor them. At least your wife will be happy. And if they wish to stay with your wife for some days at their house, honor them. Your wife will be happy. Many husbands among us will not even go to their house even for a one-time meal. For that, invite for one-time meal, many husbands thinking that they have to bow down, the wife's family have to bow down on their knees so that they can, request to come for a meal. What are you going to accomplish by just, not going there? Are you thinking that is it a shameful act? No, it's not a shameful act. It is your rights. It is one of your wife's rights. You should go there and honor, the pledge. You have got a pledge with your wife that you are sharing a goodness and a badness with your wife. So you have some rights. She has some rights. You have to satisfy your rights. She will satisfy her rights. And one other thing is many husbands never agree to stay in their in-laws' house. They are thinking it's a shameful act to stay in their house. We have seen in many, cities as a tradition that, if you stay in their house, people, around us will take a smile at us or laugh at us, and they see that, these guys are staying in their in-laws. I mean, you're not going to stay forever. Even though if you stay for some time, you make your wife happy, and it's, to take care of their wives as a, right for your wife. How can you deny that? And share your stuff. I mean, if you and your wife agree that, if you want to stay for some days, go ahead and do that. It's your, rights. If you are here in US and going for a vacation to India, say for an example, for a month, if you are going vacation for a month, this should be very, very much careful that we should be dealing with this. If you are going for a vacation for 1 month, you have a rights to stay in your house for 15 days. You let your wife to stay in their house for 15 days. I mean, I'm not saying that it's compulsory should be obligated because it's between you and your wife. But she has a right to stay in her parents. You can go with her or whatever it's been, commitment between you and your wife, you can make some arrangement, but you should honor the pledge that you have taken at the time of marriage. She has to serve her parents. You cannot deny her rights. Rasulullah, when Rasulullah was asked about who do you like in the woman and who do you like in the man most, and Rasulullah said, I like Aisha from the woman and her father from the man. So Rasulullah said, I like Aisha from the woman and her father from the man. No doubt the word, her father. See, he stated his father-in-law, he likes her father-in-law, he likes his father-in-law the most among the men. He didn't say that my friend Abu Bakr. He didn't say that, the companion Abu Bakr. He stated her father. So what did we learn from this? This hadith is stated in Sahih al-Bukhari 3662. You should love your father-in-law. I mean, he can be most. I mean, he would have said that Abu Bakr said, his father-in-law, her father. So there is no harm. There is no, nothing wrong in going to your in-laws' house and share their food and stay with them for some time and serve them. I mean, treat them as your parents, as your own parents. That is another important that you should take care of it. We have seen Asma on Hadith as an example that how you should treat your wife's parents, and they do not need to seek a permission. Let's see the other things in our second good dua. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. So far we have seen what are the duties a husband should serve to their wives. If you choose the condition to Rasulullah says, if you choose the condition to satisfy the most, if you say for an example, you have 5 to 6 different conditions to satisfy, and if you want to choose the best among those conditions, Rasulullah says it's a marriage condition that you should satisfy the most. This can be seen in Sahih al-Bukhari 5151. So we should satisfy the marriage condition. So condition is to serve you, to serve your wife. You have some rights, your wife has some rights. You need to serve your wife will serve to you. So it's a 50-50 agreement that you both have. You both enter into the marriage agreement. And also in another hadith in Sahih Muslim 995, it has been stated that if you spend some money on Allah's path, and if you spend some money on poor people, and if you spend some money to release a slave, and if you spend some money on a family need, and Rasulullah said, which is better and higher grade among all this expenditure? Rasulullah said, the one you spend on your family need. Among all 4, even it's much better than you spend on Allah's path. Even it's much higher than you spend on the poor. Even it's much higher than you spend on to release the slave. So you need to spend money on your family needs. You need to provide food. You need to provide clothes to your wife. What else that you have? I mean, without providing the food, without providing the dress, what else you are going to contribute? Are you going to give, donating to masjid or anywhere else? It's not required. Your first obligation is to serve, honor your marriage pledge. So feed your wife. Give them whatever you need for the family needs. That is much important than anything else. This is the lesson that we can learn from this particular hadith. Finally, whenever you spend on your family, Allah will give you return, including the food that you are feeding into your wife's mouth. This can be seen in Sahih al-Bukhari 56. Good act, the good act that we feel and we do towards our family, Allah will give us a very good deed. There are some other things that we encourage our family relationship, because it is much essential for us to lead a life before we go and meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even especially here in US, we are separated from our parents and our relations, and our wife and our children are there here. So encourage your wife, help her family within ourselves to share our works and and share our good feelings. Tell them the stories, make them happy, play with them. Say for Rasulullah used to race with Aisha radiallahu anhu. We have seen in Hadith, Rasulullah used to race with Aisha radiallahu anhu. When she was young, she beat Rasulullah in the race. When she became fat, and Rasulullah beat her in the race. See, it used to happen. You play with her and she will play with you. Share your household works with her And that is much essential in honoring the marriage relationship. Allah says it is the most honorable agreement that you should honor. Marriage is an agreement. None of the religion in the face of the earth says that marriage is an agreement and it can be ended by both the parties. Both the parties have rights to keep it and to end it. So we as husbands should honor the agreement and serve our duties to wives. Let's make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep every one of us to serve our family and keep our family happy. Wa alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.